you guys because I've got a Lynn's bio here and it looks great. And, you can already hear she talks great and she's a wonderful friend and good person for ISPI. But this lady brings 30 years of invaluable experience to education organizations. She's doing great for the military right now. She's done this with nonprofits. She brings instructional design theory, technology, project management, and a whole bunch of other diverse stuff that gets individuals and people working together. As you probably know, her doctoral work was on what we're doing now. This ISPI chapter exists because of her work and what she's done. So that's just an illustration of how she catalyzes people together, transforms change, and now she's pushing us forward with this AI stuff, which is incredible. I hope we're going to get a good sight into that today. She's looking at going back into the education part because she brings a lot of experience in that area with strategies on how to do that. And I'm very excited about hopefully seeing some live examples today of how she's been taking that military experience now and transforming with AI to maybe jumping back to the college system. I can't say enough good things about her, so I'll just stop by saying she's a good friend, good person, and she's just fun to be around, and also a good grandmother. so tell us what AI is helping you do.
All right, thanks. Mike, can you go with me everywhere and do my introductions? That was really cool.
Well, I wore this tie in when I was thinking about you. It's got my little my girl on it when she was about your kid's age, and she's got a little lion head on because it's coming like a lion march. And yeah, if you don't know Lynn, talk to her offline. She's just a great person, and she really's got some good stuff to show today.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Before I jump right in, Nicole, do you have anything you want to say now, or you want to say anything, or you want to save it for the end?
We can save it for the end. We've got a couple announcements about upcoming events, but I did put them all in the chat. So if you want to start marking your calendar for future events, check the chat. And Dr. McBain, take us away. I'm so excited to learn about AI.
Are we recording, Nicole? Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to be talking about AI and basically just give you an overview and introduction, and then we're going to do a couple fun things, and I'm going to show you how you can use it to build your career, to expand it in your job search. What are we going to do tonight? Well, we're going to look at AI applications. I want you to be able to at least identify 2 or 3 and what their purposes are. We're also going to look specifically at job search strategies and outline some AI approaches on how to enhance your job search. And then we're going to just take a minute to look at the ethical considerations behind that. And I know this is something that's at the top of conversations across the board, whether it's education or resume building or interview prep. Everybody wants to talk about the ethics of it. And it's a very important topic, especially since we're basically pioneering the generative AI process. So discussions of ethics are very appropriate. I included a link that you can select for ChatGPT. Also, there's a resource folder. I think Nicole put it in the chat for you. Instead of giving you handouts and handouts in the link, I just put everything into one folder. ChatGPT it's a large language model. There's a lot of words that describe it. But at the root of it, it is a personalized tool that can give you, based on what you put into it, personalized information and advice on multiple subjects. For our purposes, it's going to give us career advice that's going to be tailored to us individually. And I'm going to show you how you can create different prompts that'll help you to get the results that you want out of ChatGPT. You can use it to revise your resume, to prepare for an interview. You can use the voice prompt version, like on your tablet or smart device, to actually conduct an interview with the AI, which is really kind of cool. I tried that one out and it's fun. No matter which model you use, it's going to give you those tailored strategies, the tailored responses that's going to be specific for you based on the information that you put in and the prompts that you craft, asking it for that information. And like I said, it can be job search, resume tips, interview prep, networking. You can even use it. I think one of the prompts that I put in a spreadsheet is how to message somebody on LinkedIn that maybe they posted a job and you just want to say, hey, you posted this job and I'd like to have this job. How can we make that happen? that's not the thing that you want to write. There are, as I said, there are a number of different generative AI models. ChatGPT is, I don't know if it was the first, but it's probably the most popular. It's owned by a company called OpenAI, and they have an image generator called Dolly and several other applications. But you also have Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. This interesting figure over here is an AI named Claude AI, and it's actually kind of a conversational style AI that's not quite as proper as ChatGPT. Jasper is being used specifically for marketing, for enterprise marketing, and then GitHub Copilot is one that you can use for coding. And then, okay, so the main way that you're going to interact with any AI, regardless of what the outcome is that you want, is going to be through prompting. The prompting is it's the way that it's exactly what it is. It's just a request. And there's three basic rules that you want to follow. You don't want to just ask it, hey, you know, write a story about a short person with hairy feet and a pointy hat. It can come up with all kinds of responses if you give it that. Instead, you want to follow the three R's. You want to give the AI a role, a scenario, tell it, I want you to take on the role of a human resources agent. You're highly experienced at your job and you've conducted hundreds of interviews with people who have applied for an associate dean of instruction position. So that could be a role that you give the AI. Then you ask the request. I want you to create, or I want you to take this information and help me to revise or improve or create some type of product. Maybe it's a bio. Maybe you need to work on your bio because you don't like the way it sounds. I did that several times. And at the end of the day, I still was frustrated with it. So, AI is not a perfect solution for everything, but it definitely makes it easier. You want to be very specific and give the AI plenty of details. If you have examples, give it a few examples and it'll make your result better. And then define those parameters. And that's how you want it to produce the result. For example, you could say, format your response as a table. Use the following headings. It's kind of like if you go to a deli, you don't just walk up to the counter and say, hey, give me a sandwich, because you don't know what you might get, especially if that person has a sense of humor. You can define a sandwich a lot of ways. Instead, you're going to go up to the counter and you're going to say, I want a sandwich and I want it on this kind of bread and I want this kind of cheese with these condiments and meat or no meat or, whatever. You're going to be very, very specific with the person who takes your order. And if they don't get it right, you're going to be upset, most likely. You want to do the same thing when you're generating these prompts. And this is really the key to the whole thing, is how you craft that response or how you craft your prompts. The second most important thing is the revision process. And that's where you just talk to the AI. You have conversation with it. You're very specific. You can be polite if you want to, or you don't have to worry about being polite. If you're polite, it will be polite to you. If you're not, it'll just be straightforward with you. It takes back and forth. It's not going to come out right the first time, the second time, or even the third time. It takes several revisions to get it to the point that to the product or to the result that you want to have. So those are kind of the keys for it. You want to make sure you have a role defined, a specific request, and then be ready to revise, to go through that process of revision. So let's go into it and go ahead and pull up your chat GPT. We're going to do two fun things. Then we'll do some things. You can use your own If you've got some resume content, or if you want to do job search strategies, we'll do all those after it. But first, let's take your Chat GPT. I want you to use this prompt, which I put in your handout. So if you don't want to type it, you can just cut and paste and use it that way. I'll pull mine down so I can open up mine as well. So we're going to write an email to your boss, informing them that your widgets are delayed, and write it in the style of Dr. Seuss or any other author that you want. It doesn't really matter. So go ahead and open up your Chat GPT or Copilot or whichever and type that in. You don't have to write the word prompt. I guess I should put that down, but just type in the content. Is anybody good at reading Dr. Seuss in the rhythm that should be read? Just imagine you're in the 3rd or 4th grade, because I'm going to call on somebody to read. No? Who would like to read, I don't know, the first paragraph or two of the response? Go ahead, Karen. Let's have it.
I write to you this fine day with news that's a big thing. In a world of orders and trade, sometimes progress waits. Our widgets, those fantastic things, are delayed in movement. Seems there's a twist in the tail, a hiccup in the mail. The widgets we so dearly await will arrive a tad bit late. Not by a year, not by a month, just a little lunchtime crunch.
If you try it, I tried it first. I was going to use Tolkien as my author because, you know, I love all the nerdy stuff. Well, the response was paragraphs long, paragraphs and paragraphs. It was great. Don't get me wrong, but I thought, well, nope, this will not do for an interactive workshop. If we use Tolkien, all we're going to do is sit there and read all the responses. We won't get to anything better than that. So this is one trick that you can use. Is just to ask it to write in the style of. You can even write in the style of yourself, or you could tell it to use a specific tone. Now for interview prep, I have another one that's kind of fun. If you want to put that into your search and try it, feel free. I'll go ahead and put it in mine and we can just look at it. This is my nerdy side. What would be common interview questions for a Jedi apprentice position, and how should I answer them? So as you can see on my screen, ChatGPT is pulling all this up and giving me a list of questions and suggested answers. Now, one thing that's really cool, and I mentioned it earlier, is you can use the chat function for ChatGPT. I haven't tried it on any of the other engines, but on my tablet, I have the ChatGPT app, and if you select the voice chat, it talks. I sit it on my desktop and start working with it, and we have a conversation, just like we were on a Zoom call and cameras off. The only difference is everything the ChatGPT is saying is being printed on my screen in front of me like a transcript. It's really neat, because what I did with it was gave it this prompt and asked it to pull up some of the common interview questions for a certain position, and it pulled those up and gave me suggested answers. And then I told it, the next time I want you to continue in the same role, but I want you to post the question, then wait for me to say my response, and then give me feedback on what I said. Now, you could do the same thing by typing it. But for me, it felt a little bit more comfortable to do an interview prep if I was actually saying my response instead of typing it. That was really, really helpful for me. And I'm going to use that if I happen to get interviews for some of the positions I've applied for. I will be using that feature as I try to prepare for those interviews. Let me take just a second. I see there are 14 comments in the chat. Are there any questions or anything that you guys want me to address, Nicole? Do we have anything?
We've mostly been sharing the fun things that ChatGPT has given us.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump right over and start looking at how we can use this for our job search. So one of the things that is really, really important when you're trying to get a new job, you found a job um, and you see the job description on LinkedIn or wherever, you want to make sure that the resume that you're presenting and the cover letter that you're presenting is matched up with what they're asking for. And we know even before all this generative AI became really popular the last year and a half, that companies were using I can't think of the word for it, but they have a technology where they scan those resumes and they scan them to see if the keywords are there, to see if the phrases or the education or whatever information they put in is there. It's actually a piece of AI that does it for them. Um, so when you're preparing your resume, you want to make sure that you have those things there, that it is well aligned to the position that is being advertised. So the way that you can do that is through prompting. And we're going to actually do this one first. I know it's a more advanced and longer prompt, but I wanted to go ahead and do that one first just to show you the specificity that is really needed and how it can accomplish tasks for you. And then we'll go back and we'll look at like the career path exploration, connecting with people on LinkedIn, and a few others if we have time that are simpler and shorter. But if you look at the line 3, which is tailoring your job for a resume on the spreadsheet, we're going to put in this long prompt. I'm going to go ahead and cut and paste it. You are an HR expert with 20 years experience in the industry. Now, what industry? Well, it's going to know the industry because you're going to paste a job description. You know what makes a resume really stand out. Here's some information about a role I'm interested in applying for. And I have used like a programming trick called variables. And that's what those little squiggly brackets represent. I put the word job description in there. It does a few things for you. It helps to focus the AI so it starts to look for it like a tag. And it keeps, especially with like a prompt like this, if I were to put my entire job description in that space, my prompt would wind up, I would never be able to keep up with what I had typed, especially if I were going to edit in the future. So I'm going to use the variable job description and resume at the top. You can see I've given it a role. I've made a specific request. I'm telling it now how I want it to respond. Format your response as a table with the first column listing each section of my resume and the second telling me the actions I can take to make it more relevant. And I give it some suggestions, but I give it freedom to use its experience to tell me categories that might be, it may know things that I don't know. I hope it does because I'm asking for its help. Keep your advice short and practical, be encouraging in your tone. So in other words, ChatGPT, don't chew me out because my resume is not great. I really need your help. So then you'll see the variable job description. I'm going to cut and paste the job description and put it there next to that variable marker and then the resume in the same way. So I've got that already copied and I'll just put it in my chat GPT. Feel free to do that. If you happen to have a job description laying around, you can follow along and do that. And I'm not going to put the whole job description for mine. And you don't have to be fancy about any of it. So I have job description. It's going to look like a mess because I just cut and paste. I did a cut and paste directly from that document. And then my resume. So go ahead and you can do the same thing with yours if you have it.
Are you cutting and pasting your resume or do you upload a file? How does that work?
I cut and paste mine. So I'm just copy and paste, and now you're going to see this is massive. So this huge prompt, and ChatGPT will go to work. You can see I asked it to format as a table, and it's coming up as a table. It also gives you a little bit of explanation. You can ask it to give you more explanation or less. It's completely up to you. If you think of it again as you're talking to it, this is a conversation. If you were sitting with me and we were having a conversation about preparing your resume or aligning your resume or doing whatever, it's the same kind of thing. It's just you have to get used to the fact that you're having a conversation with a computer. I didn't ask ChatGPT to create anything for me in this first round. I asked it to give me advice, to review, basically to do a resume review based on the job description. It doesn't have information in every little block because I didn't do the whole job description. When I used it before, it had a lot of information everywhere, but and then it gives me these tips. Ensure I didn't have contact information in resume. Imagine that. I forgot to put that on there while I was updating it. It gave me tips on how to translate the things that I've accomplished and the work that I've done, how to translate that into terms that communicate I was a leader. I have a hard time doing that. I really struggle with, I'd rather say, hey, I designed this learning and I did this and I can use advanced technology and I can do 3D modeling, and all the while I am doing some of those things, but I'm really leading a team to do those as well. And so I have a hard time communicating. I'm a strong leader, and because of my great leadership, our team was the first team, not ever, but in a very long time, to deliver a project on time. I know several of you, so I know this is a unique struggle. We all probably struggle with talking positively and strongly about ourselves. That's where this AI comes in really handy. So as you go through it, it gives you all these different action items. Now, let's say we want to revise it. What's something that we could, what's an idea to revise it? Something you wanted to focus on a little bit more. Who's got an idea?
I asked it just now if it could rewrite my work experience to match the job description, and it did. And I just about fell out of my chair because that's how excited I am.
Oh,
Step
that's
ahead of me. I'm getting ready to do that now. I'm looking for a job description online that I want to
right. Like write my resume for me, AI.
yeah, just jump over to LinkedIn and grab your job description. Go ahead, Nicole, you want to share your screen and show that to us? Instead of me trying to type up something real quick, we can just swap the screen around.
All right. Do we see my chat GPT with my 18,000 tabs?
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
I'm a tabaholic. So I put it up here. It gave me a chart like yours, a table, and then it was saying like I need to tailor it a little more. And so I said rewrite my work experience to match the job description. And it said sure. And it literally went through and gave me new bullets all the way down for every single job.
That is.
I also didn't copy and paste the whole thing. I just went back a few years, but yeah.
Yeah, and when you
it told me
yours,
told me something at the end too. It says now I've revised it to match the requirements in the job description.
I've got a question for Nicole.
Okay.
Nicole,
Yeah.
when it rewrote that for you,
Yeah.
do you, I mean, as you're reading back through it, does that still feel pretty accurate? It didn't like go way out in left field, did it?
No, so most of the bullets remained relatively similar, but I saw some verb changes. I saw it fixed my grammar in a few places, and as a former English teacher, can't believe I didn't catch that. But so it fixed some grammar, and then it threw in different keywords on a few. I mean, I haven't closely checked all of them, but I did notice a few. Like it rewrote it instead of grant management. I think it wrote grant budgeting. Like it like gave more specifics kind of throughout, which was kind of cool.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm doing a whole resume rehaul tonight.
When I first started the process, before I did the prompt on let's align the resume, I posted the job description in my resume and said, ChatGPT, take on this role. You're experienced educational administrator. You've reviewed potential applicants for positions and I just described the entire thing. I said, I want you to look at my resume and the job description and tell me if I have what is required to succeed in this position. And it did. It told me you're well qualified for it. And then it told me you just need to work on your resume to define that better. But that's what we're doing. So, and I have pages and pages of this, but I just wanted to show you how this prompt and response interaction moves, how you move through that so that you continually refine and refine and refine and refine. And another tip is when you get to a point, like I did with my experience or my education section, I said, before we move forward, let's review everything we've done so far. Here is the revised education section. Will you take a look at this in the role that I assigned you and make sure that I haven't missed anything? Like I said, it's just a conversation. So I know I'm giving you a lot of information. I'm trying to keep it organized. So let me just stop for a second and make sure everybody's good. If there's any questions, if I can explain something further, or if you have something fun you want to share from your own search.
It's rare for me to be speechless, but I cannot believe how easy it is just to pull in a job description and have it rewrite a resume to match it. And then it wrote a cover letter too.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. Like, I feel like the way I was using ChatGPT before, I was like an idiot. I'm just like, wow, like I was using it in such a rudimental way, and I thought that was amazing. Like, make this paragraph more concise, or make this sound more professional. That's how I was using it. But this is insane. This is amazing.
Whatever you tell it and put in is going to determine what you get out of it. So just think about the sandwich. If you go to Jersey Mike's and say, hey, give me a sandwich, who knows what you're going to get? But if you tell it, hey, I want the number 5, but no onions, and add oil and vinegar and mustard and brown mustard and mayo, and and you make, which sounds all disgusting and too spicy for me, but if you're very specific about what you want, they'll make you a good sandwich. If you're not, you just get what you get. All right.
So Erica shared, so you can share your chat GPT history with somebody. So Erica shared in the chat, comparing the resume to the job description, and then it gives you like a really cool list of like what you need to do. And then Mike wrote you a poem with AI.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We got time for one more trick. You want to show us something from, you had like a LinkedIn idea, or you have quite a few on that Excel sheet. Let's do one more party trick.
Let me pop over a new one. And before I forget, you can now create specialized chat GPTs. If you look on my screen, you'll see I have Prompt Professor. I just found that one yesterday. I was like, oh, this is cool. Because you can go in there and Prompt Professor will help you write a prompt. I haven't played with it a lot, but you can also explore additional GPTs that people have created these. They've trained the GPT to do specific things. Just when you've got your chat GPT open, you can just look through that. You might find something. I mean, like there's one, Canva has developed their own. I haven't played with that one yet. I'll have to try it. I have a lot of different prompts for you, and I'm going to add to this. This is my file. So as I add to it, you'll be able to see it. If you find some good prompts, or if you develop a prompt and you want to add to it, feel free. We can share this. If you want prompts for other things, like I have productivity prompts, just let me know and I'll send you a link to the Google Drive file and you can have that as well.
Hey, Lynn, can I ask you a question about how you use it with work? So I know, like, you're in some of your contracts, you have to follow a certain set of SOPs on how the course is designed and everything. Are you able to like put that in there saying, does this align with this SOP, or can it, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can. You can, yeah, I've put things in there. So right now I've been doing the report writing phase of it, and I'll put in the Army acceptance criteria for that specific thing that maybe it's a validation report. And then I'll paste some of the content. I don't put in the private information with it. I just kind of make it generic. And I'll ask it, does this make sense? Or um, I give it a roll, and it helps. It really helps. And even just using simple things like you mentioned, make this more concise. I can be so wordy. I mean, it'll help me to make it more concise. It'll help me to make it. Sometimes I might need to elaborate. All I can think of is saying, "We did it, and it was successful." I'm brain dead and burned out, so it'll help you to elaborate or make it shorter or more.
That's what I primarily use it for now, because when I deal with people that aren't in the military, I'm very used to being like bottom line up front.
Mhm.
Here's like that, and to me, that's just the way we communicate. But like other people have said, like, man, that sounds like really harsh. Can you like put in some
Mhm.
like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you want all that stuff?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's so
And so
cool.
just be more specific with your prompting and revisions, and just say, if it gives you back a response, say, I'm military and I have a tendency to be too abrupt in my responses. Can you help me to revise this so that it's more professional, but it has a friendly tone, or like I asked mine to be encouraging. I mean, like I said, it's just a conversation, and you'll get the hang of it. The more you use it, play around with it, make yourself Mickey Mouse and do whatever. I mean, if you're like me, you have plenty of potential things that you could use. If you're not looking for a job currently, then you just go on LinkedIn and find similar job descriptions and work on things. You can also use it and ask. We didn't get to the parts where we ask and it to do. You could say, give it a specific role and say, these are the skills that I have. I want to build my career and expand to eventually becoming, I don't know, vice president of a 4-year university. Can you tell me what skills I need to focus on, or additional education or certifications, um, what additional experience I might need? Um, and it'll tell you. And then you can ask it, where would what it would be the best place to go to find, if I'm going to take a class, what are some good classes? What are some affordable classes? Are there any free classes on Coursera or edX or something like that? It'll tell you all of that stuff. I mean, it's almost limitless, the potential things that you can put in and have it do for you and help you do. If you're on the paid version for ChatGPT, then you get all the GPTs. Like, there you can create PowerPoint presentations. It's called Slide GPT. That's through the Chat GPT universe. I guess it's a universe. I don't know. It's like Marvel Comics, I guess. Um, they're just extra features. Copilot. If you have a Windows computer and you use Microsoft and you pay for their Copilot version, then it automatically embeds itself in every Microsoft product that you've got. So real time, while you're typing a Microsoft document on your computer or online, it's right there. You just can click the button and get its feedback or get its help.
Yeah, somebody earlier, I'll have to scroll, like it was all the way back up. Somebody said they use it for like recipes, helping with kids' homework.
Mm-hmm. I
Whoever you
planned a trip
were,
to
come tell
Pensacola
us some
with it.
tricks.
Yeah. So here's a cool thing. This is going to be my last piece. I can go through and take this meeting chat. I can cut and paste every bit of it and paste it ChatGPT and say, I've been in this meeting and this is the chat from our Zoom session. Summarize all the comments, make it with a structured list with headings and bullet points. Make sure to add all the links in, make them active links, whatever, make it a table, it doesn't matter. And it'll do that for me. So I can get the highlights of it instead of having to go through and read it, and it will organize everything. You know, these chat comments, I don't know if they are or not, but maybe you talked about Bigfoot in 2 chats, and then for 6 chats you talked about uh, I don't know, the swamp monster or something, and then you jump back to Bigfoot. It's going to put it all in order, so I don't have to go through that and try to make sense out of it. Because our time is valuable, and I know you're all like me, and you work way too much. So anything that can help is definitely a positive thing in my book. All right. Anybody else? Feel free to talk. I don't have to be anywhere or do anything. So I'll hang around if you want to. If you need to go, it is a few minutes after 7. So I apologize. We went over. I'm going to stop my screen share. If you've got questions or anything, this is, like I said, very casual, and we can just talk about it.
This was awesome. I didn't think I was gonna get as much out of this. I'm like, I don't, and what am I gonna really do that much with AI? This is awesome, fantastic. I mean, I remember freshman year in college, circa 1996, like what it took to change the background color of a website, to put in the code, to write the HTML code to get a website to change the color background blue. And you're like, yeah, it took like 6 lines. I mean, this is like, I can't even wrap my head around this.
I'm impressed. If you'll let me share my screen, I took that idea you said of summarizing the text that we were putting in the chat, and it was amazing what it could do. I mean, I'm very surprised. Here, let me see if I can share that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll just send you the link. But it took out the best quotes. It made 10 topics of summaries that we were talking about. It's very impressive.
I made you a
I didn't
co-host
know.
if you want to share.
I could send you the link too. Let me see.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah. Well, let me try and figure out how to do that. Share the link. But I mean, I just didn't know. I didn't know it was that powerful. I think the prompts, I was not using the right prompts before.
Oops. Yeah,
Lynn,
the
how did you
prompts
say
are
that
the
you got
thing.
the there it is.
You got it?
I got copy link. There we go. I'll just put it right here. Yeah, my prompts are not good in the beginning, but finally towards the end, as you were talking, you know, the last couple are pretty good. Especially the list of just links.
You should be able to share
I just
now,
sent it.
I think.
I just sent it as a clickable link. So, but I'll share it too.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you guys can do the same thing, but it was really nice. I mean, there's the links that we put in through the thing. You know, these were here's the topics
wow.
we talked about with different 2 lines, and I said, what are the best quotes out of it?
Wow.
Look at that. Your
was,
prompt, that last prompt was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, man, I forgot my amazing quote too. Rats. I came up with an amazing quote without ChatGPT.
Yeah, but I was really impressed. I mean, you know, in the beginning I couldn't get I remember what you're saying, you know, it started out really big, but after I took the text out and everything else, they got really nice. I mean, I didn't know how to talk to it before, but you showing me how to talk to it here and then put a humorous tone on and a couple other things. I'm impressed. And then I asked it, yeah, you did a great job tonight. Thank you. The Dr. Limerick was not good enough for you.
Erica, her comment just reminded me, meeting minutes. We have a meeting every week with our contracting officer, the proponent, our prime. I mean, it's a big meeting, and we have to record it and a transcript, and then we have to create a set of meeting minutes that has to be sent no later than the next day. I use ChatGPT now every single time. I paste the entire transcript. I just right click, cut, paste that thing right out of Teams and say, I need meeting minutes. Here are the headings that have to be. And then I tell it the tone that I need it to take. And I've gotten good enough at how to coach ChatGPT in that task that it would take me 20 or 30 minutes. That's it. To do that huge task that normally would take a while. So yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
I think a hands-on. I really like what we're doing with our ISPI group of doing these little hands-on playing with it because usually I play with it by myself and whatever, but I mean having you guys all play with it together and then showing some of the things that really it's very good. It's informal, but it's also fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've had fun.
Is there
All right.
one you said marketing that there's one that can be used for marketing?
Mhm.
Have you used it yet or
No, not really. Not so much. It's called
is that
Jasper. I
is that
think
in the paid version?
yeah, you really have to get a paid version. It is developed for businesses. I mean, anybody could use it, but it's really developed for enterprise marketing applications.
Cool.
Same thing with a program called Synesthesia AI. Is for videos, but it's for commercial applications.
Oh, well,
Uh, so you could use it, but I'm pretty sure you just got to pay for it. Danica, thank you. But yeah, definitely, if you come across good stuff, put it in that folder, upload it. You should have. I'll give you edit permission to that folder. I don't think you have it, but we can share and share alike and put it in our LinkedIn chat, and we'll. I mean, that's how you learn. I'll share what I've got. You share what you've got.